Well, today I got off to a good start. Went back to the basics and just drew, you know? And I guess this is the first time in a long time that I had a photo and just a drawing to work from. So I had, let's see here if I can get it up. It's closed. I took a photo of some clay that I had been messing with. Clay's over here hiding now. I should get it wet. But I made a head out of clay, and then I photographed it, and then I did a drawing based on the photo, and then made this painting from that. But I'm pretty happy with the results, kind of going back to basics and just thinking about form and value, really. No need to complicate things. I started off with this glazing this thing. It's just so bad. It kind of boggles my mind how terrible this is. But this kind of goes to show what can happen when you just don't have good source material, you know? My source material was crap, and I do this all the time, and I'm like, oh, I can make that better, right? And here's my, like, what the hell? What are you gonna be able to draw? You know? Not much. Everything is like blown up. Look at how like crappy and blown up these JPEGs are. This thing, just ridiculous. So, going back to basics, kind of being in class, like being in figure drawing class, when you start thinking about how just having the right place in the room during figure drawing and getting the right pose with the right light can actually enable you to have the best drawing as well. So, lighting things properly, dealing with real form instead of kind of making these forms out of your head, I think have garnered some results that I'm pretty pleased with. Here's the photo image that I was working from here. So that's the original sculpture. And I think, this method of just slowing down is one that I want to continue through this semester. I'll get started on this gradient tomorrow. Or maybe today, put something on there. So, yeah, that's about it. Other than that, I had to work on my letter of intent for the position in class, or the lead GPTI position that's become available. So there's that. I was also thinking about, with these things, another thing that makes this painting suck so much is the composition is just unbelievably boring. There's nothing worse than a boring piece of art, in my mind. And this is just boring. You look at, like this sort of stuff that I'm looking at, these are Bronze Age comics, kind of the end of comics, so they're not really expensive for these. They're like $4. These horror comics. But, just simple things like composition, these poses, these more active poses. The text, of course, is cool. It's like you look at something like this, and then you see something like this, and you're like, what is happening? This looks like high school or something. I just can't believe how bad this was. But I just wanted to play with that black and white, and I guess that black and white layer, this bad painting is a good indication of what a bad painting can give you, I guess, Just reading about glazing. That was the other thing with glazing yesterday. I was like, what's wrong with my glaze? And then I realized you can't put white in glazes, I just bought like a thing of zinc white, which is more transparent, but if you see like some of these glazes that I made up here, they're not with white, You just need like orange, and you need to dilute it. So the trick is often, getting that orange which like the glazing on this isn't totally awful if you overlook the terrible drawing. Um, but yeah, using those, and I'm excited to get more into glazing. I ordered a couple new colors. It's called quinacridone rose. So anyway, here I am, and of course, just took a picture of me. Here I am, and I'm pretty happy with how it's working out today. Glad I got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I got 5 more days. 5 more days free to do whatever. So that's awesome. That's pretty cool. So I think I might jump into the dream painting right now. Oh yeah, in terms of stuff I was thinking about today, I listened to, it was 3 hours long, and I listened to it, and it was a podcast that I put up on my website, and basically it was just talking about perception. What? I didn't post it? Oh man. I didn't post it. I just had it and then it died. I don't know. I wonder if it saved a draft. Hopefully. If it didn't save a draft, that's going to be annoying. Maybe it doesn't. It doesn't have a draft, does it? No, it's vanished. Well, that happens. Those are the breaks. Anyway, it was basically all about perception, and one thing that kind of stood out in my head is that they were talking about anesthesia, and how anesthesia, you don't dream, you don't want to dream. If you're on anesthesia, you just completely go basically into oblivion, right? And when you go under anesthesia, often you think like you go to sleep and you wake up immediately and you don't even know that time has passed. One benefit of dreaming is this whole idea that it's still kind of bound to time. And another thing that really stood out to me was, one thing about dreams that's really interesting is that our perception within dreams, we don't think anything weird is going on. So there could be a giraffe on fire that walks behind the couch, and you're like, oh, there's a giraffe. So often this total weirdness of the world and how we perceive the world is made out to be completely normal. So those were a couple things. I'll have to post it to lunarcave.com, and that's where I got all these videos and all my inspiration and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll post that videos, this new Sam Harris talk that he was having with this guy who's an expert on phenomenology and perception. So that was really interesting while I was painting to listen to, and I think it's kind of becoming a part of my work more than I realized, because like the computer angle is often about perception, these facial recognition paintings, and the organic quality versus the technological cold quality of reading a face as compared to the more organic way of reading a face. But these things also have this this kind of sci-fi quality to them. And when you think about science fiction, it's often about something magical happening, or something surreal and magical happening within a normal world. So that's also a lot like dreams. So I'm starting to think about how all these things are intersecting and influencing my work, and it's kind of exciting and good to see that all these things may seem disparate, and previously I was even giving different names to this is a Pat Jakobek painting and this sort of stuff, but now I'm starting to think that all these things can relate to each other, and it's really phenomenology and perception that is kind of tying everything together. So something more to think about. All right, that's it.